Last week, Saudi Arabia, Turkey and Pakistan signed a mutual defence pact which carried echoes of NATO's Article 5 by declaring that an attack on one would be an attack on all three and would prompt a joint response. This new military alliance of Sunni Muslim powers has been forged against the backdrop of conflict and instability in the Middle East. It suggests that all three are looking to shore up their security in a region made more unpredictable by Donald Trump's decision to go to war in Iran. So what will the agreement actually mean for regional stability, or should we say instability? Let's talk to Dr. Burcu Ozcelik, who is a Senior Research Fellow for Middle East Security at the Royal United Services Institute. Dr. Ozcelik, thank you so much for joining us on the Times at One. How important do you think this new Sunni regional power security pact is?
It's good to be on. Thank you so much for having me. To answer your question, this is significant. It's a meaningful moment. It's consequential in terms of the building of a regional security architecture, which is a term and a concept that we have been debating and speaking about for many years with respect to the regional order in the Middle East. So taken from that point of view, that this was maybe a long time coming, and there's a great deal of uncertainty about the willingness and consensus around building this type of alliance, I think it's meaningful. We can't ignore that.
Who do you think?
Pakistan, Turkey, they each bring their own sets of strengths, capabilities to this alliance.
Who do you think will be threatened by this? I mean, the natural answer might appear to be Iran, but I'm also wondering how Israel is responding to this.
I think in many ways, although unstated, explicitly not stated, the alliance is meant to produce a deterrence outcome, right? So this is meant to be, at its core, serve as a deterrence architecture for all three signatories. And all of the capitals have said that the alliance will be open to future member states or brotherly, friendly states across the region. And that matters as well, in that it speaks to the institutionalization of the alliance. There's going to be a secretariat set up in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh. There's going to be a committee, sort of a body attached to this alliance. And so from that point of view, it feels like a NATO-like structure, but I wouldn't go that far just yet. In terms of who would be threatened, I think, again, the alliance members have said this is not a counter-Iran structure or against any other third country. But of course, naturally, given the state of affairs in the Middle East, the regional instability, the volatility, the uncertainty at the moment, all eyes are on how Iran will react and how Israel will react. Interesting remarks from certain Iranian officials who have, well, one version of their response has been to say, this is a paper tiger type agreement. It won't really stand up to a military test. It's on paper only. Another type of reaction from the Iranian leadership has been to say that this is a vindication or an affirmation of how when Muslim countries come together in the Middle East against common adversaries, they will prevail. So in a sense, this is seen as the natural extension of what Iran has been advocating for in the region, meaning the posting of U.S. forces.
I'm particularly interested in Saudi Arabia and one aspect of what might be their military ambition, and that's nuclear. Of course, they deny that they have any ambition right now in that direction, but we know that in terms of civil nuclear power, the Saudis have been talking to the Americans about doing a major deal. That seems to have been suspended because Trump tied it to Saudi making peace with Israel. And now we have this military alliance with Pakistan, which we know is a nuclear power. Do you think there is any prospect of Pakistan sharing key nuclear intelligence and know-how with Saudi Arabia? And is that a fear that, for example, Israel, which is, as far as we know, the only regional power that has nuclear weapons right now, is it something Israel is thinking about?
On the latter part of your question, I would say yes, with little room for uncertainty there. This has been both the alliance itself and the components about the nuclear umbrella that Pakistan could share with Saudi Arabia is a cause for concern in Israel. And this has been coming for a long time. Bear in mind that there was already last year, in 2025, a military agreement signed between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. So this new agreement signed last week, the Mecca Agreement, builds on that, adds Turkey, and opens a door for potential new signatories in the years to come. In terms of whether Pakistan would share nuclear capabilities, I don't think there is a clear-cut answer to that, and we simply will not know openly at all. The point, however, is deterrence. Given the nature of the threat emanating from Iran, the show of force and the capability that Iran has demonstrated by waging economic warfare in the Strait of Hormuz, its retaliatory strikes against America's Gulf allies, there is concern about what Tehran might do next from among Middle Eastern states. And so the possibility that Pakistan might share the nuclear umbrella with Saudi Arabia, potentially others, is meant to be a sign, an outwardly sign of deterrence to contain and manage Iran. And I think that matters. But in terms of the material transfer of that capability, I think it certainly should be on our radar. We should be tracking this. It's not a trivial matter, but I don't think we have enough information to claim that is inevitably going to be what happens.
But bottom line, and briefly, if you would, do you think that this new defense pact in the region is likely to have the longevity and the significance of NATO in the North Atlantic? I'm just mindful that all of these countries have their own particular preoccupations. Pakistan, obviously, with India, Turkey with its own sphere of influence and its NATO commitments, Saudi Arabia with its domination of the Gulf. Are these really regional powers that are going to hang together for the long term?
I'm a bit skeptical. I don't want to trivialize the symbolic significance of this moment for the region. I think it's an outward expression of regional agency, of regional actors addressing problems from within the region, and an attempt to diversify security partners and alliances. And this matters significantly for the region shaping its own future. However, I would be cautious about overstating the actual operational significance of the NATO Article 5 style language in this alliance specifically. Even bears reminding potentially, NATO's Article 5 suggests or explicitly states that members will act according to what they deem to be the most appropriate course of action. So even Article 5 in NATO does not necessarily trigger war-making capabilities, right? It's not a predetermined outcome. And I think similarly we will see in the Pakistan-Saudi-Turkey alliance that yes, in principle, in theory, an attack on one, it will be considered an attack on all, but that doesn't and will not necessarily mean the automatic entry into the military kinetic warfare stage immediately. So there will be assessments and calculations made at the domestic level. In terms of durability, I think I will have to say time will tell. I think it seems to be a positive step, but we're still very far away from knowing how durable it will be.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Burcu Ozcelik, Senior Research Fellow for Middle East Security at the RUSI think tank. Thanks for joining me on The Times at 1.